Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. We've had an amazing weekend here in Oklahoma City in my own hometown. The whole gang came in, and I'm going to tell you all about it. We've got Jeff Pinnacle, Litecoin leader here. He's on his way traveling back to his home state, but he's popping in at the airport and going to join me to share with you guys and some current events as well. So be right back after this. Give us a like, share this video, make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Hi, Jeff. Welcome to the show. It seems like I just saw you.
Hey, Lisa, good to be here. Yes, I'm on my way back from your home state to mine. I'm one state away. I'm in North Carolina now, but in a couple hours I'll be back home. And the training wheels are coming off again for traveling. I got another big trip, a week in Miami coming up soon, so got to get used to travel again.
I'm excited. I'm hearing that things are loosening up in the travel world. I'm actually just found out I'm going to be headed to Miami as well. I originally wasn't going to be able to go, but things have changed a little bit for me, and I'll be joining the crew there in Miami. I guess the 7th through the 11th, or the 7th through the 9th. I can't remember the dates, but at the Bitcoin conference. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go to Shitcoin because of my school schedule, so my homeschooling schedule. But I'll be there on Thursday. But this weekend, you and the crew from Crypto Confidential came in to be a big support, and we had a great time. I wanted to kind of share that with everybody in the chat. We had Tom was here, and you and Divvy Daddy and Justin came in, and I just appreciate you guys and the support that you gave me. There was a little drama on Twitter, and I was a little nervous about what might happen at Bitcoin Day, but it went off without a hitch. I drug my mom and Carly, my daughter, up to speak with me. And then we had a panel that my friend Amber, who's a CPA, joined me on, and CJ Spears and Matt Moore from Tulsa. He has a radio show in Tulsa we all spoke on. And that was amazing. And then you guys were there for the happy hour show on Friday with Clint Westwood, and Bitcoin Ben came down and blew us away. He gave $1,000 in Bitcoin away at the live happy hour. So what was your thought? What was your thoughts about Oklahoma? Was that
Well, I thought it was well, it was the second time through, but the first time I really visited because I was really just passing through the first time. But it was a lot of fun. Great to see you and Clinton again, and Mr. Davis, which I can't help but call Mr. Davis. As soon as you see him, he's a Mr. Davis. So, but I think the happy hour went great. We were at the your local gun club, which was fantastic. They had a really good restaurant, so we were able to hang out there and have some drinks, and no shooting after drinking. So that was a good rule, like that rule. And but we had a good time with the happy hour show. And then the next day, Bitcoin Day, I thought you and Amber did great. I'm a little biased, but I think that you guys just stole the show. I think the panel was great. The other panels were just like, it seemed like they wanted to be Bitcoin maximalists, but they weren't quite getting their arguments too strong. But I think that, I had to throw the grenade in the water when I think you were up on stage. I'm like, they were talking about coming together and having a common message. I'm like, guys, drop the Bitcoin maxi thing. This is like, we're all in this together. It's crypto. You can use all coins to get more Bitcoin. It's really, or it's not fighting amongst each other.
Yeah, I guess that's really an interesting mindset. I guess because I came into cryptocurrency in such a through a different door, through the Litecoin door, and through the, just a welcoming, I mean, they're literally called Litecoin fam. And so it was that, really different. But then watching these guys were in the Bitcoin community, or I call it community, they talk about it's very mining heavy, and they have this competitive thing because if you look at it, the computers are competing against hash rate and competing against each other. And so I was like, oh, maybe that's where that competition thing is coming from, and that competition mindset. But I'm like, you guys, but in my mindset, it's like the legacy finance industry, that's who our competition is. That's the enemy. That's what we're looking at. In
Yeah,
crypto, the more people that are brought into crypto, we all win together. So it was a little confusing to me, just because my mindset is so different. The more people that are in Bitcoin, we all win together. So they kept talking about this Oklahoma, Texas hash rate fight. And I was like, oh, you guys are talking about the miners, let the computers fight it out, but the people should all be friends. We should be trying to bring more people into this.
yeah, and to be fair, the crowd, I mean, they were pretty receptive when
Yeah.
I threw that question out there. They were like, well, we're not entirely maximalists. A couple were, but it's really about like a lot of the maximalists that are like the OGs that have been around for a long time. They got into Bitcoin early. That's been my experience. So yeah, you're heavily invested in Bitcoin. That's your main profit center. So yeah, you're going to be a maximalist when, but the arguments that it's the best network, I'm like, well, what's the use case? What's like, you got to talk about, I'm not going to argue with that Bitcoin is sound money. I mean, probably a global standard in some way, shape, or form, but it's not necessarily like you can't, not the expense of other things to solve other problems. Blockchain has many applications. Bitcoin and sound money, it's a great application, but there are other problems to solve that can be solved with blockchain.
I agree. Yeah, and I guess that was one of my arguments as well. If you're saying that Bitcoin solves everything, then you're saying that legacy systems are not broken. And we know that our judicial system is broken. We know, that so many of our systems are broken, and we need solutions for those things too. And so that's where I get frustrated with that. And I see blockchain, things like NFTs being able to fix, you know, possibly our judicial system, being able to correct contracts, um, and solve a lot of our legal problems, I think. So uh, I think it's good that we're having conversations about it though, because I think that's where solutions come through. So there was one guy that, he was so excited to talk to me about lightning. And I was like, there wasn't a question there. He just wanted to prove something to me. And I was like, yeah, I think it's great that there's lightning. And do you know that it was created by Litecoin? you know? And he's like, yeah, but now that it's here, aren't you worried that you hold Litecoin? And I was like, no, because Bitcoin is going to be, I mean, I think at some point Bitcoin won't move. Bitcoin will be a store of value. Maybe governments and, um, you know, countries will use Bitcoin to trade settlement, but I think individuals will use things like Litecoin to transact and things like
I
that.
agree with you. I agree with you. If Bitcoin becomes the standard for international settlements, then where is the common guy going to buy? What's he going to use to buy his coffee? I mean, is it really going
Right.
to be the same coin that's used between just to buy oil from other countries? I mean, that's a different use case. But again, like the judicial system, the voting system, your personal ID stuff, that's not the best application for Bitcoin by any means. So there are other applications for blockchain. Bitcoin is just the first killer app on top of the founding technology of blockchain.
Right. Well, and we saw over the weekend, it was more confirmed, but I think it rolled out either Friday, was it Thursday or Friday, the information where we're seeing Russia accepting Bitcoin from allies for oil. That is huge. That's a game changer. They're saying that they're backing their ruble with gold, and now they're saying that you can purchase their oil with rubles, with gold, or with Bitcoin. And so,
Well,
oh goodness, I'm gonna mute you just for a minute. He's doing his best to be there for me, and so we could talk about this weekend. And he's at an airport finding a place so we could be on here and talk to you guys about it. But You got some exciting stuff happening there at the airport.
Yeah. Sorry about that car going
No,
by,
you're
but
okay.
there's a
It's real
trade-off
life.
between it's a trade-off between finding a decently quiet spot and lighting and where I can be in an airport. So there's either this or the chapel, and I didn't feel good about doing it in the chapel. So, but I agree with you. And if you go back, if you look at the stories, like they put out the stories, but there's information in the stories if you dig into them, like the whole Russia-India trade that was actually really established in 2020. Well, we all know who was in charge in 2020 and who happened to visit both countries in 2020. So don't be surprised that that groundwork was already laid 2 years ago and just waiting for it to happen. But I agree. Everybody's dumping their native fiats because no one really wants it. They want precious metals and resources and Bitcoin. That's really what they want to go get.
Right. Well, and I was just at the bank today, my local private bank, and my bank president is a friend of mine. She's former military, and she's on the Fed committee for creating the new stable coin. And I was talking to her about it, and I was frustrated that Powell keeps using the term cryptocurrency. And she said, no, we talked about it. We're using the term stable coin. And she said, they're working on a new one. And so I thought that was really interesting. I'm curious what's going to come from that and what that looks like.
One of the first videos I ever did, and it's kind of funny that I'm coming up on a year. I can't believe it's already been a year of making YouTube videos. But one of the first videos I did was like, there's nothing stable about stable coins. It's just tied to the dollar. Half the volatility of Bitcoin is the fact that the dollar is dynamic too. It's just a reflection because they all do it. So and the central bank digital currency. We've heard certain people tweeting about that too. But they're going to be conflating these two things. They want you to think that the central bank digital currency is just like another crypto, but it's not. There's not going to be no upper bound on it. They can print as much as they want. It's centralized and controlled. Everything we're not seeking in like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Digibyte, and all these other coins with solid tokenomics like Divi, that we know what the projects are going to do. It's not that at all. It is not the cryptocurrency we're looking for. It's more like a Dogecoin, and we've seen the memes of like the worst shitcoin is actually the US dollar. So just to go back to that particular word in that conference, which is always fun to say. When I say it in other circles, I would just watch them laugh. I'm like, I didn't name the conference. This is what
and you're
it
like,
is.
no, that's just really what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was another announcement about a central bank. I'm trying to find the article right now. What central bank was that?
What they announced?
I'm trying to find it really quick. Was it UK or was it UK set plans for regulating crypto coming weeks? Wasn't that one?
I think I've seen some action in Russia, Asia, and Germany lately in some news articles. Besides the US.
I was thinking I sent it to myself in another app.
The US timing, the executive order that talked about central bank digital currency, it's interesting if you do the math. They want it done before the next election. They want it done in September, October, because they give an 8-month time frame, I think, or 7 months. And they announced it in March, so they want that done before the November elections. So don't be surprised if we start to see a Fed coin, a Fed app.
Yeah, I think it all happens this summer, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At least that's the plan. That's the plan. We'll see how it rolls out and if anybody uses it or not. If they're smart, they'll incentivize people to use it. But I don't think they're that smart.
Yeah, and then there was the whole maybe I can find it through. I want to be able to share a screen with you guys so you can see.
I'll let you hunt, but part of what I think they're going to try and do is that the Fed app, they're going to incentivize people, and lead to social credit scores and certain things to use this thing, and it'll be like an airdrop of money to them, and they may get 10% more of their income if they use the Fed coin instead of the US dollar. So they try to devalue the first thing and emphasize the new thing to get people to adopt it.
Yeah. Yeah, and everybody in the chat's talking about how many times it's going to fail. Who else was
twice rapidly?
Yeah, the sand dollar and the Was that Omar talking about that?
I don't know the sand dollar off the top of my head. Been too busy trying to follow up more crypto projects.
I know, this is terrible. I'm like, have.
Well, I think the points certainly conveyed whether we find the article or not. All these countries that have central banks as it is, they want to go to a CBDC and try to get more control, more power, because he who controls the printing press controls the people.
Maybe it was this Dubai. Two major
Dubai.
Cryptocurrency firms in Dubai. And then the Russian central bank announces its, okay, so I guess Russian central bank makes the official announcement about going to gold. And then the Dubai thing was a cryptocurrency issue. So hold on one sec. And I'll screen share. Oh, did I lose him? Oh, hopefully he'll come back. Let's see. He'll come back here in a sec. Let me grab the window for share. And hey, welcome back.
Sorry about
yes,
that.
No, it's okay. Yeah, so here's the information. It was this two major cryptocurrency firms set up offices in Dubai. So it was just the official announcement of Russia Bank announcing ruble bound to gold. So that happening, and then also we know the announcement of the Bitcoin of Russia also accepting Bitcoin for rubles. Then there was Anonymous. This was the other one. Anonymous published hundreds of documents obtained by hacking the Bank of Russia. I think that will be really interesting as these documents come out. That's going to affect a lot. I think that as this transition happens, there could be a hack involved, or then people are made whole by FDIC or something, and then that's that magic airdrop that you were talking about. That's put into, that would be a way to take people's money away and transition it into the new stable coin. Is, oh well, you're going to be made whole by the stable coin.
Yeah, I think was it the Hegelian dialect, where they create the problem then present the answer. So they need to create the hack to say, here's how to not get hacked again. You can use our currency. So,
and this was the article I was trying to come up with. This move is a big deal. So the yen tumbles after this BOJ intervenes to cap JGB yields amid global sell-off. So there was some huge global sell-off and the yen tumbled. So currencies are dying all over the world.
yes.
Or being affected all over the world. And I don't know if, like you were saying, they're getting out of these fiat currencies and they're wanting to move to these precious metals backed.
Well, they're trying to preserve their buying power as best they can, and they're trying to dump them on the market because they don't want the rubles, they don't want the yen or the yuan or whatever. They want to go to this new one because they're all losing value. So they want to get it out there, and the first one that is successful with it and could become the next world dominant currency, and it's especially if they adopt a gold standard. So the first one that revalues the currency could really be a big winner, but we don't know who that's going to be. There's lots of different stories that lead in many directions that way.
Don't you see Russia being in such a strong position though now so not only has, Biden shut down the Keystone Pipeline, then I heard saw an article about Canada's pipeline having to be shut down for a repair of over 1,000 miles of reconstruction of a concrete break or something in their oil and gas pipeline or their oil pipeline. And so that leaves like basically the whole world dependent on Russia's and China, I guess, oil deposits.
Well, if you start looking at the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they're all doing something to get off of their current standard. They're all doing something with oil. It's going to be a number of different things that are happening all at the same time. We're talking about oil and the petrodollar, and that's dying, and trading oil and the different. Everybody's going to. I agree with you. Russia's going to be in a dominant position because they have so many natural resources. But everybody's going to trade the natural resources however they see fit for whatever they want: gold, digital gold, however they want to sell, or if they want to dump rubles on it. And part of the reason that we're such it's a world economy now. Like there are bonds that are sold and internationally that need to be, like Russia owes debts on their bonds that they can't pay in the native currency. Part of the terms of the bond is that you have to pay it back in dollars or euros, and those are frozen because of these sanctions. So they're just saying, well, you got to take our rubles, you don't take anything. And you have Brazil, Rio de Janeiro is a big major spot. They've already started putting money into Bitcoin. India, we talked about earlier.
Rio de Janeiro announced today that they're going to start accepting cryptocurrency for taxes.
Yeah, they've already in Rio. So Rio will lead to Brazil, which is I think the number 8 economy in the world, which will lead the rest of South America and Central America, and then the other BRICS countries, and it just be all rippling through. So I really think that the underbanked and what they are, the classic third world countries or lesser world, whatever you want to say it, the ones that are not dominated by the dollar or the euro are going to be leading the path towards cryptocurrencies because it's their salvation. It's a better answer for them. So they're going to head to a better answer and a better solution for both their governments and their people.
Wow. Yeah. When I was at the bank today, I was talking with, my banker that was helping me set up my account. And he was asking me about, well, if this is all centralized and where is the power, what's supporting this or what's behind it, what's driving it. And I was like, well, I don't think it's going to be like the petro anymore. It's not the petrodollar. It's going to be each country, I think, will have these basket of resources, and their dollar or their money will be backed by what that country's resources will be. And then the countries that want to exchange or trade with each other will say, well, these are my resources and this is my dollar. And they'll have to decide if they want to trade with that. But then that's, I guess, where Bitcoin comes in. If everybody agrees that Bitcoin is the standard and you can exchange with Bitcoin, what do you think about that?
I think you really have to go back to what are the fundamental properties of money. The purpose of money. Like we've all been to swap meets or yard sales or whatever, and you can say, you can negotiate. You can say, or if you went to the old school markets where you brought cattle and they brought bread and they brought fruit, and so you would trade, like, I'll give you a sheep for a basket of fruit or something like that. But then that's bartering that's essentially what you're talking about, bartering with your own resources to work out new things. But the purpose of money is to agree on a price for things and create a standard of exchange. So if everything's also like, well, I will sell this barrel of oil for this amount, this amount of wheat or bread or grain or whatever, or also if you don't agree with that price, I could price it in Bitcoin too. So we can all agree on that. So it'd be just another means of pricing and standardization, because money's meant to be like, okay, well, we can all agree a price and then we can transact, because that's a much easier thing than sending you a goat or a tangible object, because that's the purpose of money. Money's supposed to be able to create a common platform for everybody to exchange, trade. That's what the whole purpose is.
So is that why you're saying whoever kind of figures it out first, which it looks like Russia is, unless China's did it before and is just silent about it, but Russia's kind of winning the battle there, where they're announcing their gold-backed dollar. They're saying now we'll accept Bitcoin as well, and they're selling oil to everyone. Financially, it looks like Russia's winning the game.
Yeah, but history tends to repeat itself. I mean, 100 years ago or less, we used gold-backed denominations. I mean, and then we go to the Bank of International Settlements and settle up every so often. But it was basically just like trading, like, I owe you this much gold, or I owe you this much that. But back before we went up to gold standard, other countries were trying to say, we want our gold. and we didn't have enough gold because we're over collateralized with the dollar. We didn't have too many dollars for them to like turn in those Federal Reserve notes and trade them in for gold. So that went away. But we could return to that. We could we could see a lot of nationalistic movements by Russia, by China, by other countries, and saying this is our natural resources. This is what we're using to provide value behind this currency. But the key is that once they do it, they can't just keep making more because that would devalue all the currency. So they need to say, this is our basket of resources. This is the currency we're going to use against it. This is our standard. And if they standardize things and just say, this is where it can be audited, that's how much is backing it, then it's more like people have more belief in it. So that's really, so Bitcoin has the power of the network, and it has like all the properties we have of the best money, and people believe in it. And it makes a lot of sense for countries. And then once you start to understand the fundamentals of the economics, we're jaded being in the Western world. We're very jaded. We can open up a bank account very easily. But in El Salvador, where Bitcoin was adopted, they used to have the US dollar, but they went to Bitcoin because the average income is $100 a month there. It costs you $50 a month to set up a bank account. So why would you ever do that? And then it goes all the way back to the merchants who said, well, we can't get cards to swipe. So why would we have a card swiper? So it's entirely cash system. So, but the dollar was devaluing so fast in El Salvador, which was their that was their currency. The US dollar still is, they still accept it some places, but now Bitcoin is a better solution for them. So they said, that's where we're going to go.
It's amazing. Yeah. So, and that just changes. So it makes it an even playing field for every individual there. Like you don't have, like you said, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be the big players. You can have those options to transact, to do business. You don't have to just be the big money to be able to get started. And those things that are an impediment for so many people.
Yeah, and it's soon we're going to have. Sorry, Lisa, but soon we're going to have the feeling that I think a lot of people are going to have the same feeling that you and I have, and a lot of other crypto people have. Like we don't want to spend our crypto, we want to hold on to it. So that people start to get the other mindset. They will start to save. They will change the dynamics of the economy. Like, do I really want to spend my Bitcoin for this object? Make them more smarter consumers rather than we're such a consumer-based social. The way in the U.S. we're so consumer-driven. Like we're advertisers, like buy this, buy that, buy this. Maybe we need to start saving again. And crypto kind of like teaches you to do that. Like, do you really want to give up your Bitcoin now, knowing it's going to be worth more in the future? It's for this object you want now. Like, do you want this microphone? Do you want this headset? Do you want this phone? Do you really want to spend that money now, knowing that's going to be worth more in the future? It's a different dynamic. And I think that the sooner we get the people in that mindset, it's going to change everything.
That's a great point. When we were talking on the panel, I'd been asked to talk about generational Bitcoin or generational effects of Bitcoin. So I had Mom and my daughter Carly join us. And that was one of the things, because I really wasn't raised to save money. We never had money to save. And being raised with money, the US dollar being a depreciating asset, and not being raised in a wealthy family, I didn't understand how to take care of an asset that was an appreciating asset. And so then when you're introduced to Bitcoin and you start owning something, you have to totally change your thought process about how you take care of, you protect, and what you do with an appreciating asset. And that's where being introduced to Crypto Confidential and all the tools that come with that was really invaluable for me and my husband. I remember when I was like, oh wait, we don't want to sell our Bitcoin. And you helped me out we got Patrick Divvy Daddy on the phone, and we had a great talk with my husband and I for, I don't know, almost an hour, where we had to unlearn the way that we've been taught to pay bills and do things in society, because of the way we've been trained with this depreciating fiat dollar. And then think about, okay, now you have an appreciating asset, and how do you treat that, and how do you protect it, and how do you do things with that? It's a totally different way of thinking about things. And then at the conference this weekend, I felt like we were trying to have that same education, even with Bitcoin maximalists. Even some of them they don't even know what they have.
Right.
And that was
Right.
a really interesting conversation as well.
There's multiple shifts in thinking, and when you open up your mind, like, you know what, I don't want to sell my Bitcoin. What is my plan? And actually, when I'm at Shitcoin, they want me to talk about having a plan, which is one of the 10 commandments that we have at Crypto Confidential, which is always have a plan. Why did you buy this coin? Where are you going to store it? What's your exit strategy? Like, you need to have that all well defined before the market starts dictating to you. Like, if the coin goes up a factor of 3, what are you going to do? If it gets cut in half, what are you going to do? What is your plan? And the plan could be different for everything. But like, when we were talking a couple months ago with Patrick and myself and Charles and you about, borrowing against your assets, like, that's a very common question. That's part of the reason we get so many questions so many times over and over. Like, we want to leverage our knowledge and talk to more people as best we can. That was what Crypto Confidential is about. And I gave a sample out on my YouTube channel. I did a 5-part series on Nexo to explain it more. But it leads to more questions. It always leads to more questions, which is good because it gets people thinking. But you need to change their mindset and say, if you don't want to sell your Bitcoin, well, how are you going to do this? Because it's very easy to slip and be miserly with it and always hold it back. So how are you going to move on with it? But that's what we do over Crypto Confidential. We try to share, and try to educate everybody, because everybody's story is different. Your purpose for crypto, like you said when you were talking with Nana and your daughter, the purpose of Nana for having crypto is different than yours, which is different than your daughter's.
Yeah, it was really interesting to look at that. And that's where I loved being able to share, because we're in different stages of our life. And that's why I wanted to ask my daughter, do you see it as an investment or money? And then Kyle in the audience, he said, well, I have the same question for you. Do you see it as an investment or money? And I was like, well, I see it as both, because we use it for both, because I'm in that different stage of my life, so it's really for my daughter, she's like just an investment, because she's so young. They really are looking towards the future for their crypto right now. So it's really interesting when you look at it, and like you said, having that plan, and Crypto Confidential helps you make that plan and have those tools for that. It's just really exciting. I wanted to share one more picture from John Sackett is in the chat, and his sweet boy Jack came to the happy hour meetup with him, and we got him to download a wallet. And if you guys watch the video, you can go back and find. I know Nana sent me that picture.
Jack had a very good day. Jack had a good day.
Jack had a good day. He was a great guy. And we all sent him some crypto. I think this one has the picture. Yeah, I'll send this one. Let's see. We all just had such a great time. The meetups are the best. Just getting to meet everybody and talk about crypto and tell the stories. It's just awesome. Ron and Tina were there, and we just had so much fun.
And I think it's really important that I've been preaching it for the last 6 months or so, probably since when you and I were out in Salt Lake. We need to start to just hashtag add a day. Always add a day when you go to a conference, because you're gonna want to spend more time with these people. So add a day. You already made the trip. It's just the cost of another night in a hotel room or whatever. But add a day so you can spend time with your friends, because it's your reunion of sorts. These are all people you want to hang out with for a long time and not get much sleep.
Do I dare share that picture?
Oh boy. Okay, go ahead.
The cowboy picture?
Well, that's fine.
Would he be upset with me?
No, he's not. Go ahead. Patrick would enjoy it.
I had to find it. Hold on. He sent it to me. Oh God, he's so cute.
He wanted so bad to have a cowboy hat. He was talking about belt buckles and boots and cowboy hats.
So
we were watching.
Cute.
We went there. We thought we were just going to go out and have a night in the town. It was like, wow, this is not our scene at all. But we had a whole lot of fun to see a live bull, mechanical bulls, line dancing, two-stepping, and bull riding all under one roof. And I'm like, that was quite the event. And I was definitely out of my element, but I had a whole lot of fun. So.
How is it?
Well, both of us wound up on the mechanical bull. I'm going to be sharing that probably on my April 1st video.
Oh, I
celebrate
have
my
the video from that.
yeah. Let me whatever you can share, go ahead and share. But I'm going to be sharing that again on April 1st.
See if I can find it. Maybe I can do it through my computer. Are you going to share it on your show?
I'll be sharing the videos of us both Patrick and myself throw the mechanical bull.
Okay, well, I'll let you share it on your show then.
Okay.
It is just, you guys have to go watch it on Jeff's show on go to Litecoin later and watch it because it's hilarious. And we had a great time, and I loved having you guys here in my hometown. I know you have to run, so I wasn't going to keep you long on here, but I wanted to just thank you so much for your support, and thanks for you guys. I loved having you in my home. I love having you in my hometown.
Thank you.
And I love my magical internet friends, and thank you to everybody that came to the event. Thank you, Ben, Bitcoin Ben. You brought all of us together, and
Yes.
I'll always appreciate that, and I'll respect you for that, and love you for that, and
Everybody,
for all of us.
Everybody was so fantastic. Thank you for your hospitality, you and Mr. Davis and Nana and your daughter and Amber and Clint Westwood. I think I got everybody else, but if I didn't miss you, and Tom and other people that were there, it was great. And Ben was there for a while too. But I mean, just to be able to, just remember how we're supposed to be able to be hanging out with friends, just sharing good times. And, it was entertaining. I don't know if Patrick saved the box or not. I don't think it made the trip, but we have the pictures to remember the box. We'll never forget the box. So
we'll never forget the box.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you again for a great time. We'll look forward to the next time we see you.
Absolutely.
Miami in a couple weeks.
I'll see you in Miami in a couple weeks.
Right.
And we'll make some more memories then, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
You guys try to get to a meetup. Go to my website, litecoinlisa.net, and you'll see where the next events will be. We'll also be celebrating Mighty Mia's birthday, having our Team Mighty event, and announcing our Warrior of the Year and our Champions of the Year, celebrating Bix and Amy Weir as the champion for 2022. And
to learn more about Crypto Confidential, go to litecoinlisa.net. She's got a great description there. Mm-hmm. If you want to know, use her link. Get her. She'll never tell you, but she gets a reward. So if you want to donate to Lisa's cause and join Crypto Confidential, use Lisa's link to join us over there. We'd love to have you on board.
If you join with my link, then you join my community, and it helps out the channel. And I'm on the AMAs with them twice a month as well, and it's just great information. My husband was asking, he was asking Jeff and Justin at the dinner, at the picture I showed you guys earlier. Now, what about this and what about that? And in the newsletter last month, this. I was like, oh, that's right. So great information. Appreciate you guys. All right. Well, we'll see you next time, and see you tomorrow. I'll have Satoshi Sean on with you guys. And we'll be back on the new normal on Tuesday. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Lisa. Take care, everyone.
Yeah. Have a safe trip home, Jeff.